Rise and shine, dreamers. Happy Wednesday. We are back from Guatemala, and I'm telling you, I'm still feel like I'm living in a fairy tale land. Today is a day we've never seen before, and a day we will never see again. So let's go ahead and end the month with a bang. 3 days left to close out October strong. So let's get into it. As you can see, today's topic is what is your level of burning desire? And this was one of those questions that BC asked the whole room inside a private mastermind overlooking the volcanoes. And it was when I was like, you know what, this is a perfect one to go ahead and really bring back to the family, to give some perspective, to really get the gears turning into place. So that's the topic for today. Let me know. Let's get the chat filled with some gratitude, some great frequency. Grateful to be alive, fam. Grateful for each of you, for all of the abundance, for the momentum, and for everything that is here and on the way. Because I'm telling you, if you go look at, Coach Fard Bell's page, Mr. Brian Crothers, there is so much on the horizon, and we're just getting started. So here we go. Let's get into it. When we were over there in Guatemala, not only were we able to give back to the orphanages and the school, and if you didn't get a chance to go ahead and check out the video that I just dropped, it's right there on my Facebook, so you guys can get a little bit more of a visual of how touching the trip really was. I've had a couple of phone calls this morning about some just reaching out, asking me, D, the trip looked amazing, tell me about it. And I get emotional every time I talk about it. I'm like, some of these little girls, the little girl that I'm holding in my last picture, her family was actually killed by some of the gangs at such a young age. So when I was over there, half of the time I was literally tearing up, because as you talk to some of these little girls and you hold their hands and you listen to what some of them are going through, it breaks your heart. Some of these 5-year-olds, they got literally pushed and shoved, locked out of their house because their parents are fighting. And I give you guys story after story of how touching this really was. But it brought me to this question. Same thing with Brian. He ended up asking, what is your level of burning desire on a scale of 1 through 10? So if you were to go through and ask yourself that question, what is the answer? You guys can go ahead and drop down in the chat, or you can keep it to yourself and journal it. But just take this getting off this call. Take 10, 15 minutes in some quiet time, whether you want to go out in nature or go to the gym, but sit by yourself today where you have no distractions, no phone, no news, no call, nothing. And just ask that question and really let it sink deeply. Because when I was over there in Guatemala and I listened to that, I'm going to tell you what struck me when I heard that. Brian talked about, he's like, do you realize the impact that we've been able to make here on just a small scale with what's happened already? There's kids who had no place to sleep, who had nothing to eat, who had no way to actually put some nutrients inside of their body, and now they have a home. Now they have love. But he said, we can only fit so many people inside of this building. So he said, you want to know what my driver is? I want to be able to fill up acres. I want to be able to fill up football fields of warehouses and homes to be able to place for these kids. So they can not just graduate through the 6th grade, but they can go out into the workplace and get a job. And then they can go to college. And then they can actually have a successful life. But it takes money. So it really made me think about all of the times that we get distracted over here. It's almost like taking away food from their mouth. It's almost like taking away shelter from their kids. So it brought so much tears to my eyes to know that what we're doing, the sacrifices, the time, the service, is leading to something that is so much deeper than you and I. And as we left it on the way home on the flight, I was just sitting there looking out the window, tearing up, thinking about it. And I wrote this really heartfelt message to Brian. I said, you know what? Thank you for giving me the experience. Thank you for inviting me to actually see what this project is all about. Because it's one thing to give to a charity, but a lot of times you might not know where the money's actually going. But I tell you what, when you actually go over there and you see the school, you see the orphan, you see how they started from scratch, and they literally spent years digging this up and building this phenomenal property, it makes you really be able to understand that everything we do can actually lead to something that can last for not just one family, but generations down the line. So I love the question. That was some of my thoughts for today. And it really put you in a perspective of what is your I quit level? What is it going to take for you to quit this business? And to me, it doesn't matter what's happened over the years. I knew that this was so much deeper than just something I'm doing for myself. So the times where it got hard, the times where nobody could see what I saw, I knew it was going towards a bigger purpose. And this weekend was exactly what I need to really get that perspective again, and to allow each of you to get some of my energy so you can really understand that this is a trip that I want all of us to be able to experience come in 2026. That's what I saw when I was over there on the rooftop terrace looking at these amazing volcanoes. So you know what? I cannot freaking wait till the whole dream team is over here on this side. So I'm excited, family. I'm fired up. I'm so grateful to be here with each and every one of you on this journey. And I can tell you right now, we are with the right people, right time, right place, and we are just getting started. So let's get to it, fam, and turn these dreams into reality. It's game time. Let's finish the month strong. 3 days.